Welcome. I thought to start just by introducing myself and my colleague here, just so you have a sense of who we are and where we're coming from. So I'm joined today by Jillian Manley. Jillian's on our employer relations team in the Careers and Experience office, and she's going to be monitoring the chat if you have questions. And also, really, Jillian could share what she does, but she is someone who's looking at some of the opportunities that are coming through our job posting board, and all the good work that revolves around making sure employers are interested and excited to hire social science students. So my name is Diana Milanovic. I am the Experiential Learning Coordinator for the Faculty of Social Science. And I'm a Western alumni. I have a sociology degree, a postgrad certificate in public relations and communications from Fanshawe. And I've been at Western since 2018 in the careers office. But before that, I worked in government, nonprofit, have done an internship in corporate events. So I've fulfilled a bunch of different functions: administration, program management, government relations, donor relations, just to give you a sense of potential career paths and what we might talk about through your experience as you're looking for internship. There's lots of different directions that at least I've dabbled in. So in this role, I provide more of the program delivery support, student support, and connect you to the resources through our employer relations team and our career education team. So look forward to working with you, and we'll get started. One quick plug: tomorrow, I could not say it, tomorrow is the career fair. So if you haven't heard of the career fair, it's in Mustang Lounge tomorrow from 10 to 3. It's a great opportunity if you're looking for FaceTime with recruiters from over 80 companies. So this is put on by our office, the Careers and Experience office. Encourage you to attend. So what we'll cover today is the program, the DAN Management Internship Program. What are some of the benefits? What's the recruitment process and timeline? How you can apply. And then we're lucky enough to have a student panel tonight where some former interns are going to be sharing some of their experience with you through a discussion. And I hope you find this helpful, just to see, again, the variety of internships available to you. And then lastly, we'll have questions. So I encourage you to wait to hold your questions till the end, till we've gotten through the content. But if you do have a quick clarification question that you want to pass on throughout the session, as I said, Jillian will try to flag that to me or respond. All right, so before we go any further, I did want to know who is in the room. I've told you about me. We want to know about you. So I'm going to launch this poll. And if you don't mind just sharing, what's your area of study in BMOS and your year of study as well? So we did put on the posting for this session that really we encourage anyone to apply who wants to learn more about the program, but it is geared towards year 3 students. But if you are, looks like we've got some first year students, some second year students, and fourth year, mostly third year students, which is great, but everyone's welcome to stay and learn more. All right, I'm going to end the poll there and share. We also have accounting students here, consumer behavior, finance, HR management. We need to bring some CAM students in. If you have friends in CAM, tell them about the program. Management and legal studies is here as well. Welcome. So thank you so much for attending. All right, so what is the DAN Management Internship Program? Really, it's Western's cooperative education opportunity for undergraduate students who are taking a BMOS degree. It allows qualified students to work in paid career-related placements between your 3rd and 4th year of study for a period of 8 to 16 months. So essentially, it's a full year. It does begin in May or September 2023, and you will earn a 1.0 elective credit for that experience. Something to consider, the big piece, is that it does extend your degree by 1 year. So it's a 5-year plan that you end up entering once you do this internship program. And we'll get into sort of when that kicks in and how it works, but that's a quick overview. All of the roles through our program are full-time. So they're full-time jobs, 32 hours or more a week, wage or salary based. So we don't accept stipend or honorarium roles. We do provide competitive wages through this program. And we also, of course, have that support for your professional development elements when considering a role. So, a lifeguarding position or a retail role that doesn't further your career, any more than maybe someone without a degree, wouldn't be what you'd find in this program. I did want to do a quick plug for the short-term social science internship because I'm sure you've heard of it, or you're wondering, could I do a 4-month summer internship? Yes, you can. As a DAN management student, you can actually declare an interest to access both lengths, but through your DAN management application. So since you're here tonight, I assume that's where you'll apply, but you can say, yes, I'd also like to see short-term postings through the social science program, and we'll make sure that you can see both in your portal when you're approved. So you don't need to submit 2 applications. But really the difference is the length. It's a 4-month program. You gain a 0.5 credit. And again, summer is most common as you're not permitted to take courses. So most students do it on their break. All right, so internship outcomes. I'm curious to hear, either by raising your hand or just throwing it in the chat, what makes you want to do an internship? What's the big draw? If there's one thing you could say you wanted to get out of an internship, what would it be for you? And just feel free to plunk that in the chat. Yeah, Zane, gain work experience. And have a life. That's right, Mohammed. It's all about life experience beyond school, real world experience. Trinity says trying out different industries. Yep. Have to keep track here.
Work exposure.
Yep.
That's a great idea too.
Yeah. Work connections is true. You're building your network. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Yeah, those are definitely some key things that I would agree with. And I can tell you what else we think. So one of the big outcomes of doing an internship, of course, is really developing your career know-how. So identifying who you are as a professional and being able to articulate that to future employers through some of the reflection or self-assessment that you do in an internship. This won't be your last time in a recruiting process. So by investing your time in doing that through an internship competition can help you navigate the job search now, and it will pay off long after your degree. Skills articulation. So in the job search process, you begin to speak about your skills, your strengths, your interests, and hopefully better define them. And again, share what you've done through school, volunteer, part-time jobs. So you do have experience that you already can lend to this next step. And then of course, prototyping. So internship is low risk. It's time bound. You know, you're not making a full-time job commitment here, but you can kind of have that benefit of being in a contract and learn as you go in a very low risk manner. And then lastly, internship can propel you to your next move. So you may decide that you want to work for the company that you've interned for after graduation, which would be great. You could stay connected to some of that network, but you also might decide that this path really isn't for you, whether that's the function you were doing or the company you were working for, the career altogether. Either way, you're one step closer to where you should be or want to be. So those are some of the outcomes. So what is the difference? One of the biggest questions we get between academic internship and non-academic. So if you were just to go and pursue your own internship. I think the first one really is career development guidance and resources. So why we start this process now is that we want to be there for you in terms of reviewing your resume, giving you feedback. If you hit any roadblocks in the recruitment process, you have someone to bounce off ideas or solutions with. We also hope that this provides you with structure. So giving structured time to dedicate to looking for a job. You know, it takes time and practice to kind of hone your story and put yourself out there in an impactful way to employers. So by doing this program, we hope, you know, that we can keep you on track, keep you motivated, connect you to events and workshops and things that will help you succeed. Secondly, you do earn the credits. So if you're looking to kind of reduce your course load in the last year of study, take one less 1.0, this program gives you that option as well. And the last thing I'll say is the internship portal. So we do have hundreds of curated and vetted job opportunities, internship opportunities in our portal that you'll access through this program. And while they're not all exclusive, some of them cross-post to other universities. Some of them are employers that work directly with Western. So it gives you a bit of a leg up in terms of the volume of opportunities you can access. All right, so what do employers want? Well, really, the most common question again from students is, do they care about my grades? Are my academics important? Yes and no. We'd say that the first thing they look at is really more the human skills. So you'll see here, collaboration, communication, problem solving. Those are the things that employers are really keen to access. And of course, they also just want to know what you've experienced to back that up. So again, maybe it's your volunteer experience, your club experience, part-time jobs. Um, this makes it really important for you to be able to communicate that you have these skills on your applications. Okay, I skipped a page, but maybe not. So this is a summary of salaries in the past two full cycles of the program. We've seen an average salary of between $42,000 and $43,000 a year, again, since this is a year-long program. As I mentioned, we don't accept stipend or honorarium based. Something to consider, inflation is a huge variable. You know that you may be asked to move to a different city, so knowing that you have a competitive salary is an important consideration in terms of decision making and where you might want to complete your internship. The minimum wage just went up recently. I think it's $15.50 an hour, so that would be the absolute lowest that you would expect. So hopefully this is helpful for you. Other things to expect. So the world of work has changed. We don't just see in-person opportunities anymore. Hybrid and remote are alive and well, lots of opportunities. So if that provides you some flexibility, you can expect to see those positions. We typically see employers coming to us from Toronto and the GTA and London area. This seems to be where students want to work as well. That said, we have worked with employers from across Canada, and on your application, you can note a specific city or organization that you'd like us to look into, and we can do that. In terms of sectors, it's mostly private sector through this program, but we also do have government, nonprofit, and startup employers as well on our portal. And lastly, the functions, or not lastly, but really the functions are all business related mostly. And you can expect anything and everything from project management, marketing, finance, accounting, and we don't limit you to access based on your area of study. You can access all postings and self-select which opportunities are most appealing to you. You might see from our panel tonight, one student in finance could take on a consumer behavior or marketing position. We don't restrict you in any way there. And then the last thing is, as I mentioned, the competition and exclusivity varies on our portal. So for example, the big four accounting firms and banks are going to be promoting their opportunities across Ontario and Canada. But then on the other hand, we have some partners that work exclusively with us in the London area, but also beyond. So for example, Canada Revenue Agency, they hire with us every year, multiple students. Okay. So moving on to eligibility criteria, what do you need to get into this program? So really the first thing is just to know that we will be looking at your academic average from your previous year of study. So that is your previous 5.0. If you're very close, let's say you have a 68 in your year 2 and you took some summer courses to bump that up, we will look at that. You do need to be a main campus BMOS student, so declared in a major, honors specialization, or specialization. Completed 2 years of study, so you're in a 4-year degree plan. And that you have Business 2257 or you are currently in Business 2257. So we will accept you if you are enrolled on good faith that you will pass that course this year. And then lastly, in good standing with your department or your module. So if you are thinking about this program, there's a few things to consider that are unique. You would be the graduating class of spring 2025. So you're pushing your graduation again by a year, just keeping that in mind in terms of the friendships you have and your life plans. Just important to be clear about that you would be pushed a year later. And secondly, internship is the priority during your 4th year. So students are not permitted to take coursework during their internship. Given that it's a full-time job, that's your priority. We have a permission process if you are interested in taking up to one 0.5 credit in a term. But again, it's strongly discouraged. It's really only if you can make a case for it, I suppose. Student services. So just to keep in mind that during your internship year, you won't be charged any ancillary fees or tuition beyond the program fee. So clubs, the rec center, and the bus pass service wouldn't be applicable during your academic year on internship. And lastly, scholarship and OSAP recipients. So this is the good news, is that you are permitted to defer your continuing scholarship by 1 year, and OSAP recipients do maintain interest-free status during their internship. There's just a form you have to fill out, and we make sure you have that information once you're hired. Pretty straightforward, and you can continue on with your plan. So how does it work, this application process and the recruitment? First, you just need to submit an application of interest on Western Connect. If you have done so, we're catching up. I think we just processed and approved applications from up to mid-September. So we're working on that second half of September now. I appreciate your patience, but we are getting to you. If you haven't received your response, thank you. The deadline is October 19th, so don't wait. It's pretty quick application form. The second thing is that during the fall term, as I mentioned, it's the preparation phase. So you're going to be doing some workshops and a resume assignment to receive feedback. If you are an international student, you'll be applying for your co-op work permit, and we will send you a letter from the department that confirms you've been approved and you're enrolled, and you'll use that letter with your application to the immigration office. So I'm going to send, again, more details to international students on that once you're approved. This is what you can expect in the fall. There'll be a resume workshop. You'll submit your resume for feedback after that workshop. We have a deadline here. And then there is a cover letter workshop as well to give you some further tips on that more specific writing document. You'll also have access to Clifton Strengths, which is a personality assessment. Again, we hope this just helps you with skills articulation and identifying how you can position yourself to employers. And then the active recruitment period typically peaks in winter. So between January and March is when you're going to see the most majority of the postings for this program. We are already approving and starting to post, especially with accounting firms, as you likely know if you've been looking. They've already recruited even over the summer. So there's a long time period of recruitment. It's ongoing, but definitely peaks in winter for internship. And then once you receive an offer, this could happen anytime between now and as late as August if you're doing a September internship. But really, it's continuous. So once you get the offer, this is when you are enrolled in the program formally through your student center. So we submit your course enrollment, and that's when you pay the fee. So before you're hired, there's no commitment in terms of academic penalty or their fee owing. Not until you're hired does that kick in. So just something to keep in mind, that if you're not sure what to do, it doesn't hurt to participate and see where things land for you. And then lastly, just something to consider, that all students are asked to come back to full-time studies in September 2024. So that's why this program is limited to third-year students. We want you to go out on internship and come back and apply those learnings to your last year of classes. Just a quick screenshot to show you where you could find the application form. So it's in connect.uwo.ca on the internship co-op tab, and on the top right, you'll see apply to a program where you can select MOS. This is the application form. You'll see we want to know when you'd like to start, ideally where you might be looking to work. If you want to see those 4-month opportunities as well, this is where you say yes. We have you look at the policies and procedures. I encourage you to do at least a glance just to make sure you know what you're committing to. And then lastly, we have a survey. So if you want to, again, tell us what you're looking for, that's your opportunity to do so. And that's optional, but would love to hear from you. Another big question, can I look outside of the internship portal for internship postings? Absolutely, yes. There is the reality of the hidden job market and the fact that you have your own personal networks or goals that we might not know about or be able to help you as much as other pathways. So definitely you can look beyond the portal for roles and opportunities. And this is a great path if maybe you feel like you have career preparation skills and abilities, you've been through this process before, you're not interested in accessing our portal, you can come to us at any time with a job offer for assessment. And if you're eligible for the program academically, we'd be happy to have you in the course. So just keeping that in mind, there are criteria, of course, to make sure that it is suitable for the course. And that's at this link, arranging your own internship on our website there. And I will send these slides out afterwards so you can find that link easily. But definitely a great way to widen your net. All right, so we're at the point of the panel. I'm not sure, Jillian, should I check in with you?
Yeah, how about
Yeah,
we just make sure we've covered the questions enough for the people who've asked. So the first question was the job portal, where is it? So I think we've covered that. Is everyone feeling comfortable about that question?
Yeah, connect.uwo.ca.
Yeah. Okay. All right, and related to that is, where do we search for jobs? So either the portal or you can look for your own. I think you addressed that.
Yeah, LinkedIn, Indeed. Yeah.
Okay, and then another question was about the application requirements, which you covered. And I think I'll get students to hold any further questions on that till the very end, if that sounds like a plan. And then this one student was asking, there's a bunch of questions coming in now. Hang on there, guys. Okay, one of the questions was, can they take courses during the internship? And you had said it's not recommended. And then another question, does that include affiliate courses? I'm going to assume that's what you meant.
Yep, any course is not permitted during the internship work term year unless you've received special permission from the associate dean, and that's something you can request through us. But yeah, and I see some new questions too, Jillian. So you know what, Kamar and Rachel, if you don't mind, I'll just save those to the end so we can let the panelists do their thing.
And then I had one student just question again, like for the first years, what are they eligible to apply to? What can't they apply to?
Right. Yep. So unfortunately, first years are not eligible for the internship program, largely because we need some sort of academic average to assess you on. That's a criteria, the 70% minimum. So this is your year really just to prepare, gain any experience you can through clubs, volunteer, part-time jobs, non-internship employment, so that we can be ready for you in second year in the fall. Yeah. If you do find your own opportunity as a first year, I will say that there's been some flexibility through the associate dean as well. So if you do end up getting a job on your own and you want the credit, it can be done. But that would be the short-term social science, not this program. This is only for third-year students. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Sorry, Chris, I see your hand up as well. We will get to you. I think we have lots of time, but I want to make sure that the panelists we can move forward. So thanks for your patience. All right, so here we are. We've got Aiden, William, Ju, and Connor. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for putting on your camera so people can see you if you're able. I think, and I saw Ju earlier in the chat, so I think we're all here. I'm going to start by just asking you to introduce yourself briefly, where you worked, and some of the core tasks that you've done on your internship. Just if you had to summarize what your role was, how would you do that? And I'll start with Aiden.
Hey everyone, hopefully you can hear me. We're all good?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm Aiden. I am in HR management at Western. And I had a co-op term at the Ontario Ministry of Transportation as a policy advisor. So I kind of had two main roles when I was there. One role, my main role was as a policy advisor. So I would help advise the government on how to proceed with like policy files. So that could be like the towing sector regulations, or on license plate sticker removals, or transportation equity, a whole bunch of things. And so that was a lot of research and hosting consultations with the public and presenting recommendations to like the minister. And then I also had kind of a second part near the end where I got to help with the Divisional Services Office where we did HR things. So I got to help on the development of a new recruitment strategy and a new learning and development strategy. And then I got to actually recruit my replacement. So I got to experience a whole bunch of stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, Aiden. Yeah, that's great. They were able to loop you into that HR work on top of policy. So I'm going to go with William.
So, hi everybody, my name's William. I did my co-op term at Ernst & Young. They're part of the Big Four, and I did a 14-month co-op there. And my responsibilities kind of varied. So if trying to keep this without accounting terms, I worked in commercial banking. So whenever you go to buy a credit card or opt into a mortgage or take cash out of your deposit, essentially there's controls on the company side that we would test. And I was responsible for testing that, gathering information along that, and ensuring nothing was misstated on the client side. And then, of course, I had the duties of helping my engagement team with socials and parties and planning. So that was my main core task.
Awesome. And did you have a say in that, William, to do the parties and the socials, or did you feel like it was put upon you? Just curious.
No, I did not have a say, but
Okay.
at least I got to choose what we got to eat.
Okay, great. Just curious. Yeah, no, that's definitely part of the experience is, embracing the culture, participating for sure. All right, let's go with Ju. Just following the order. Hey, Ju.
Yeah, hey guys, my name is Ju. And last year I was taking a co-op as a video specialist intern at a company called Geotab. It's based in Oakville. So yeah, as you can see, I'm a consumer behavior program student, but this position is not so much related. Yeah, definitely it's in the marketing team. So we were producing marketing videos. So basically my responsibility are firstly shoot the video, and then I'm gonna edit them and some of the logistics, and then I'll track some of them the equipment. I'll talk about the detail in my later presentation. So
Sure.
yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Ju.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, Geotab's a big employer of our interns as well. We had a lot of students hired with them last year, so definitely take a look if you want to know more. And then Connor.
Hi, everyone. I'm Connor. I kind of had a pretty unorthodox internship program experience. I found 2 roles by myself. I started at FiSpan, which is like a really niche tech startup in Vancouver, BC, that's kind of working with banks to integrate into just like technical stuff. And I was kind of doing some financial analysis there and accounting work. So a lot more based on looking at policy. We had like a really particular product that really had to hold up to regulations across different borders and stuff. So understanding the finances of it through there, doing lots of analysis and so on, and then projections for the company. So traditional finance things. I actually found that working in a tech startup is both like a benefit and something that is not always the best, because at that position, I was really without any support. And it was just myself and another lady, and she was our director and controller and had no time to do absolutely any teaching or anything. There was like 100 of us. So I was actually kind of looking for another job and sought out for another one at another tech startup in the cybersecurity space. And from there, I've been kind of working in their sales and marketing department, which I have found to be really, really fascinating. Both businesses operate in kind of the B2B space. So from that perspective, looking a lot at the full sales cycle of corporate accounts, as opposed to more like a product direct to consumer. And so, yeah, if you kind of have any aspects or questions of the B2B side of business, which I've found to be really interesting, that's kind of where I resided. And at present, I do a lot of my work working on messaging for our products to share with our partners and our customers, and moreover, kind of going to trade shows. So was able to go to a couple different conferences, headed to Mexico next week for a conference, Charlotte, North Carolina, and also Florida earlier this year. So kind of cool side of things.
Yeah, that's great. Getting some sun. That's nice. Yeah, that's great, Connor. Thank you so much for sharing kind of your unconventional experience. And also it's a good example of applying your skills in different environments and finding what works for you. And it sounds like, yeah, you really found your footing at QuickPass. So good for you for taking that on. And yeah, I think I'm going to ask the first question. I could go deeper into that, but I'm going to move on to what was the highlight of your internship experience? And Connor, why don't you just start us off? Is there something that stands out for you?
Yeah. For me, probably the biggest thing and the coolest learning experience I had was my company sent me to a conference. I was actually flying from Ontario back to Vancouver where I live. And my boss called me at 9 a.m. in the morning, knowing I had a flight and was taking the day off. And he said, "Can you cancel your flight? I need you to fly to North Carolina. We have a conference there and there's like 100 of our customers meeting there. And we need someone kind of on the ground to see them." So our CEO had gotten sick. And so kind of being called on for that responsibility. Our company, when I started, was only like 14 people, and now we're about 30. And so working in kind of that side of things and like being able to take on a lot of responsibility and different roles and wear different hats is really cool. And so that in particular, going there, meeting with our customers, really kind of entrenching me an understanding of the needs of like the B2B business cycle and how selling works for them, and really helped me understand what and how our customers operate. So that was really cool for me.
Great.
I could talk all day otherwise.
Yeah, that's great. It's good to be ready for anything, it sounds like. Okay, how about you, Aiden?
I'd say my highlight was probably, I kind of touched on it, and it sounds really boring, but when the license plate stickers got removed and the renewal fees were canceled, I don't know if anyone heard about that. If you own a car or know someone owns a car, it was like right before the provincial election. It came like totally out of nowhere. It was super fast paced in order to like get through this like political priority. And it was probably the highlight just because they let me do literally everything because they were like all hands on deck, like just get this done and make it happen in a span of like 3 months. So just getting to do so many different things and then like be a part of these huge conversations with, you know, the program delivery and then the policy side. And then you've got like senior executives, and it was like a lot of money also. So it was just like really cool to be involved in something that was so high profile and so impactful on so many people. So yeah, that was definitely the highlight of my experience.
Right. Yeah, you never know what's going to come up the pipeline from the political side when you're in bureaucracy. And so that really sounds like it put the pressure on and had everyone involved. So it's awesome that you were part of that, Aiden. Yeah. How about you, Zhu? What would be a highlight for you?
Oh yeah, my highlight would also sounds like a little bit boring because it's a kind of a logistics thing. So as mentioned, I have done the equipment the tracking. So the company, my department was a newly founded department. It was founded 2 years ago, and then last year they just invested a bunch of equipment. So the whole studio was in a mess, and they have never done a tracking sheet to like label everything. So you know, people. So we got 2 photographers, and they may go for a trip, and then someone pick one thing, and if they never report, you will never find it. Where is it? So yeah, and I believe as meta interns were just starting at watching and learn at first, and then you're gonna start something on your own. So this project is the first thing that I was fully trusted by my manager, and I have done it by my own. So I labeled every equipment and build up this tracking sheet and keep the record of all the labels and keep the record of the status. And if someone gonna take anything with your trip, they're gonna report to me, and I'm gonna modify the status. So yeah, I think that really helped the department a lot.
Yeah, Ju, I don't think it sounds boring at all, and it's one of those things that probably for the company was a huge value add from your experience, is that you were able to create an efficiency in a fairly new team, and give that back in your fairly short time there. So good for you. And it sounds like maybe those are the type of tasks you also enjoy. Would that be accurate, or do you
Yeah,
like
I
the
really
organization? Yeah.
I like the organization. I like the work, but it's normally this is kind of work that's hidden behind the screen. And normally
Mm.
people think, oh, okay, video specialist, you're gonna shoot things, you're gonna edit cool stuff on the computer. Those are the first impression what other people heard me as a video special intern. But yeah, I think that's kind of less interesting, but it is so vital.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. All right, William, what was your highlight?
So my highlight isn't really surrounded around work. It's more like the celebration of work. So after my first major engagement sign off, the partner had taken us out for, well, it was actually my first time back in the office and like ever being a part of the office culture. And then the partner proceeded to take us out to dinner afterwards. And then all the team building events that occurred after the dinner, and like getting to be a part of a team in person was really big. And you get to see somebody's face that you've seen over a screen in person. Definitely changes a little bit of perspective. But yeah, that was probably my massive highlight.
Yeah. And so for the most part, you were working remotely, and then you had these like the celebration engagement.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
most part, I was working remotely. I only had to go into the office a few times, whether it was for team building activities or just a check-in with my mentor or engagement team and whatnot.
Yeah. I know that's huge. And I think that is part of the fun, is you work really hard, especially in accounting with busy season, working extra hours, and sort of have that recognition and see the people you're working with is really important. So good companies will do those sort of things. And I'm glad that, you were able to benefit. It's great. Okay, so in terms of this search, so most students on this call are at the point of thinking about applying for internship, just getting started. So I'm curious to know tips from you in terms of how you went about your search, whether it's accessing your network or attending coffee chats with recruiters, LinkedIn, um, look, Western Connect, was it helpful? What are the things that worked for you to make the most of your search? And so, Ju, could we start with you?
Yeah, sure. So at the beginning, I used multiple platforms. So LinkedIn, Indeed, they are definitely good sources, and also attend the online career fair, and then definitely the Western Connect. But in the end, it was Western Connect that brought me these opportunities. So it is really funny that I have applied for other 4 marketing position on Web Connect, but I think my resume and cover letter were not so much outstanding, just too general. And then I found this video specialist intern, and this is really one of my biggest interests in the past, because I have done several extracurricular activities, like shooting the MV and shooting several video projects in the student club. So I have relevant experience that makes me like have something specific to write in my cover letter. So that is my suggestion, to be specific and be relevant on the resume and the cover letter, and do research on the job and on the company, especially on the job description, how they want to perform. So try to align your value, try to align your skill to those things. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Great tips, Ju. Yeah. Aiden?
Yeah, so I got mine through Western Connect. It was actually, I'm pretty sure it was an exclusive to Western Connect. So that's thanks, Western.
Bonus, yeah.
So I applied to like most of the jobs I just applied through through Western Connect. I went to a couple outside, just standard job applications. And I guess my tip, since I did get to recruit my replacement co-op student, I kind of got to see like the other side of the equation. And I'd say, like, first off, obviously I don't have a degree in public policy. So I'd say be open to jobs that maybe aren't in your field, because even though like I didn't have a degree in public policy, like I still learned so much that is like I can't even quantify. And also you might have the opportunity, like I did, to kind of move around a bit. Once you're in the company, there might be opportunities for you to actually work in your field a bit more. And then as for like making yourself stand out, I'd say, at least when we were looking, it was all about having passion for like what exactly the organization does. I feel like a lot of people have really canned responses to the very typical questions. And we would ask them a question about transportation, and like they would have no answer, or they had no idea what we did. And that doesn't inspire confidence in a manager that you're going to really be a valuable member to the team. So like I'd say, honestly, just it really does matter if you get to the interview stage to take the time to understand what it is that you're going to be doing, and show passion, show genuine interest, because it really counts. Because at the end of the day, most of us don't have a lot of job experience. So if you can go the extra mile, then it really does count a lot. So yeah, that would be my tips.
That's awesome, Aiden. Yeah, it's so true that, we're all human in the world, and you want to see yourself or see in the candidate an interest in the specific work that they're hiring you for. And so that's great. Okay. And we said a couple other good things there too. Hopefully other people caught them. All right. William?
Yeah, so I did not get my internship through Western Connect. I did a lot of coffee chats in my second year, as well as my second year summer, and into the beginning of third year. And that was through the Western Accounting Association, getting recruiter contacts through there, and not necessarily going directly to a partner and trying to speak with them, because at the end of the day, the low-bearing fruit, it might seem like, is the person who's actually going to be reviewing your resume at the beginning, and understanding their interests and understanding what you can learn through your experience. Because like Aiden alluded to, we don't really have much experience in a work environment. So they're looking for people who are passionate about the company, good people to work with, and essentially explaining why you want to be there. And through these coffee chats, constantly following up, ensuring that they know your name. So when your resume comes up, if you're not the best cover letter writer, that they already seen your face, you've already had a few coffee chats with them, you've reached out to them, you've expressed that you want to be a part of that company. And I think that's a very major key factor in either getting to the interview stage and being successful once you reach the interview stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you all touched on so far, like well, you mentioned the persistence for sure, and the following up, the passion and the interest in the company. And then you had said be specific too. Like, so even if you feel like you don't have a lot of experience, you just have to find those connections and really think through what you've done and how you can appeal to the skills they're looking for. So yeah, great points. Right, Connor?
As it pertains to the recruiting process, the biggest thing I would say, and I'm going to give again unconventional advice, I would honestly just think about what you actually want. Like, it's really important to clarify what you really want to get out of this, what sort of an industry you want to be in, what sort of a role you want to be in, and what sort of tasks you want to be doing on a day-to-day basis. Truthfully, a lot of internships, they suck. You do a lot of menial tasks that aren't very fun. You're not necessarily always going to enjoy what you're doing, and I certainly didn't, but I also got a bunch of enjoyment out of what I was doing at some points in time. And so I think it's really important, especially for internships, if you're going to invest some time, invest in choosing like a really good industry or an industry that's really growing, or a position that you think in the long run you see the prospects and the enjoyment of doing something at a higher level. So just like take a little bit of personal introspection and reflection. As a like in regards to the actual recruitment process, I would say there's so much power in LinkedIn. And what William said is so true. Like just having conversations with people in the space, even if they're not the right person, you'll learn and get so much more out of that and be able to kind of get into that next role. That's how I got mine, or both my positions. Is like one of them, I was just talking to people constantly. Like I ask every single person I meet, oh, what do you do? What's it like? How's the industry? And just like one of them was just someone I hadn't spoken with in like 3 years. I reconnected with them for my second job and like saw them, chatted with them, talking about the space they're working in. They said, oh, well, you should apply. We actually just posted a position. And so kind of getting your foot in the door with someone that you actually know and is in a role you might see yourself in. And then, yeah, just like LinkedIn is so powerful. That's how I got my other position, just reaching out to someone who is in the role that I wanted to do right now. And then they helped connect me through to the person.
Yep. Awesome, Connor. I'm glad you added those. And you said less conventional, but still super important. And we want students to take those paths. I love your point about, you know, the power of conversation and reaching out, whether it's virtually or in-person events. And if you want help building confidence in that, there are some workshops through the central office that you can access just to kind of practice, or there's resources on informational interviews on the Western Careers website too, just to get you started if this is new for you, for others on the call. But yeah, that's so important to start practicing now. And Connor, to your point too, of just thinking about what you want. Absolutely. This is the time of year to do that before the peak recruitment. Think about even just look through some job postings and start to think about how you could fit into any of those positions, or what sectors or companies are most exciting to you to plan. So yeah, awesome tips all around. I'm curious, how many jobs or time investment did you have? Like roughly, could you say how many jobs you've applied for, or was it more just organic or quick wins? Like anyone can answer that. You can just unmute yourself. Just curious to know. Students often want to know about volume, like how many do I have to apply for? And yeah.
I can say I applied to like a lot. I'd
Okay.
say like over, like I was keeping a list actually. I think it was like 30, maybe, like a lot. Pretty much anything I could find.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I probably applied to like maybe 8, 9, or 10. But then like the biggest advice I'll give, and this is what I thought about. And then I started to think about the problem backwards and like actually decide where I wanted to be in the future, as opposed to just applying to absolutely anything. When I was applying to anything, it just showed that I was just applying to anything. But when I started to actually think about what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be, I think my answers to resume questions and application questions improved much more. And that's when I found I got positioned a lot easier.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't. Sorry.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
Please. Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So just purely on Western Connect, I applied for 5, and the other 4 doesn't reply to me. And on the other sources, I just apply to whenever I see things like marketing, sales, whatever, coordinator. Just I see those keywords, and I just apply to it. And now I know that's not the best strategy. As I said, be specific and do more research. Know more about the company to apply to would be a better strategy. But it was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Learning for sure.
Yeah, I was definitely in a similar situation as Connor, until like I found recruiters that I kind of jived with. I didn't find that I was as successful as I was previously, and you can just develop that through conversations and better understanding and research.
Yeah, I think there's sort of 2, well, there's more than 2, but there's 2 that I'm hearing here is like, you might find success through the networking and the more time intensive strategy of really targeting a sector or an employer based on what you know you want. And that can take more time and persistence, but on the other hand, you can apply to high volume, keep an open mind, have maybe a couple versions of your resume, one for marketing roles, one for policy role, one for, HR, and then see what lands. And so honestly, both strategies I've seen be successful. And I think that's evident across your 4 experiences. But that being said, you might have a strength, like you might be really good with networking and not so great with written communication, or so yeah, just think about that and see what sticks. And again, don't be afraid to pivot too if it's not working. So great. Awesome. So now I want to open it up. We do have some time if people are able to stick around or want to stick around from the attendees. If you want to ask the panelists questions before you ask me while they're here, so we can let them go shortly. And maybe just put your hand up and we can call on you or enter it in the chat. Okay. So Kamar is asking, what opportunities did you do to build your resume during university? And yeah, similarly, Zane, so maybe we could just answer this together. What kind of prior experience did you have? Does anyone want to answer that?
I can answer it.
Sorry, if you want, please go ahead.
All right, let's do Aiden first, and then yeah.
Aiden first.
Okay. So I basically did a summer job every single summer that was before 3rd year. So I was a part of the Federal Student Work Experience Program. So that's for the federal government. It's basically this huge pool. You just submit your application in, and then like different departments will pluck it. I've always had an interest in the public sector. So like it kind of just having that prior experience in the sector that I wanted to work in, I think helped me a lot. And then also I did have a job while I was in school for the university itself. So I would also like be open to jobs for the university because they have a ton of student jobs that you can do some really great stuff if you can handle that kind of workload and you think you find something you like.
Awesome. Shoot.
Oh yeah, so my experience were much funnier. So for this specific position, video specialist, I was interested in this field. So after I graduated from high school, me and my several friends, we shoot a music video covered pentatonics, and it was a little bit headed in my city. So yeah, that was the first project. So that brought me to the student club. So I was also in the marketing department, which was also all about pictures, article postings, and videos. So after that, yeah, so there was also a opportunity that came I didn't expect. So during my 2nd year, I went to a panel from Huawei. So back then there was a manager in the Huawei's PR department. He was presenting, and he posted his his connect. And 1 year later, I connect him. I was wanting if I got a chance to enter Huawei, but he left and he started his own business, and he was just short of human labor force. So he just directly invited me to his company. That was a big bonus, but still, yeah. So that was basically the 3 relevant experience to this position.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. I think we'll leave it at that. I don't see any other questions for the panelists. Thank you so much for attending and sharing your experiences honestly. It's really helpful, I hope, for the students attending here. And if you're willing, I just put this out to the last panel, but again, it's completely optional. If you're open to students reaching out to you with any specific questions about your field or your experience, you can drop your email in the chat. But otherwise, thanks so much, and I wish you the best as you continue on with your studies. Thanks for coming tonight. And then everyone else, you're welcome to stick around and ask other questions. I know there's some in the chat. Yeah, hi, Jillian.
Yeah, I've got them for you. I'll give everyone else a second to type their emails and let everyone.
I was going to say, Just if you want or have any questions for me, just connect with me on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest way.
Good
I'll
point,
answer
Connor.
LinkedIn before my email.
Sounds good. Yeah. Thank you. Good
All
point.
right.
And you can start to practice your LinkedIn skills, everyone. Send a DM. Okay. Thanks, Jillian. Sorry.
No worries. So we had some general questions about around requirements for admission into the program. And if perhaps you're kind of hovering around that 70 or maybe a bit just below, what they should do.
Right. Yeah. So we have a bit of a threshold. I would say at 68% is when we look to maybe your summer grades to see if you've taken any summer courses, or if there's other indicators of that you're on the right track to hit that 70 this term. So 68% I would say is the threshold. If it's less than 68, you should be expected to be declined. But we do allow a reassessment in January. So in your decline email, you'll see instructions like if you're able to achieve a 70 this fall, we can admit you in January based on that improvement, and you can still, meet that peak recruitment. So definitely don't give up. If you feel like you're close, apply, and we'll let you know either way what your options are.
All right. And another question was, is it available to King students or other affiliate programs other than just main campus?
Right. So they do have similar programs at King's and Huron. I believe Russia also offers as well. So I would look, it's actually, I might be able to pull up the contact person, but it's Lydia Lee at King's. And it's called the Moss internship, the BMOS internship program. That you would look for. So yes, they should be hosting similar information sessions, or you can meet with Lydia to learn more, or go to the King's website.
Okay, and some of the previous questions before the ones that are scrolling in now were, how does it change your degree? And I believe you already addressed the scholarship question, how it affects your scholarship questions, but maybe we could just go over those two things again.
Sure. Yeah. So in terms of your degree, it changes it that you'll be added to an additional module. It'll say BMOS Internship Program on your Student Center term summary. And you will also be enrolled in the work term course during your internship year. So that will reflect on your transcript as well. So yeah, it's extending your degree by a year, and it's reflected on your term summary. It's not a co-op designation, so it won't show up on your diploma. Just keep that in mind. Rachel, yeah, so I see, are we permitted to attend clubs? So no, the answer is no, because you don't pay ancillary fees, but I always encourage students to talk to their club and see how flexible they are. It's something we'd like to work with USC on. So if you're able to get through your individual club, it doesn't hurt to ask. I would talk to them about it.
All right. And if you still have questions about how to apply to jobs or where the job portal is again, I think it's in the presentation. Am I correct?
Yes, I'm going to put that up now. Yeah. So this is what it looks like on connect.uwo.ca. You should be able to see this button at the top that says apply to a program. And from the drop down, you'll pick the Management and Organizational Studies internship. So it's under M instead of D.
All right. And then I think you have some new questions under the emails from our friendly interns who shared their experiences.
Thanks, Jillian. Yeah. Okay, so from Josephina, if you've applied to the social science internship, are you able to apply to the BMOS as well? So yes, we do a little bit of cross-checking for you. If I see you have 2 applications, I'll make sure you're evaluated on the right one. But ideally, you apply only to the DAN Management Internship, and then you can select, yes, I'd like to be considered for the 4-month opportunities in social science. That way you just have 1 application and we approve you at the same time for both lengths. But if you've already applied, we'll figure it out. we'll make sure you get an answer. Okay, Kumar, is it common that students don't get an internship? Yes, I would say that there's a lot of students in our portal or in our program that don't receive an internship, or we don't know if they've changed their plans. So it's hard to test engagement in terms of our students applying to the jobs once they've been approved. I think because there's no penalty academically or financially, some students sign up and then they don't engage in the program services or even apply to many postings. So it's hard to say. But I would say on average with the DAN management, it's about 30 to 40% of the cohort are hired and enrolled in the course. Okay, so do we need to maintain a 70% average? No, we don't check. So once you're in the program, you're in the program, unless you have an academic offense or something of that nature come up, you can expect to maintain your status in the program. Zane, I will send you the recording after this. So after this session, I'm going to send the recording and the slides so you can click through any links that are embedded shortly after this.
I think we had an earlier question that might have gotten skipped over. I might have answered.
Sure.
Does the Moss portal only have 8 and 16-month options or 4 as well?
Yes, it's only 8 and 16. So if you want to access the 4, you should click yes on the form. Are you interested in being considered for short-term opportunities? And then you'll have access to both if you click yes. Okay, Mohammed has been approved. Welcome, yay. Should I start looking for a job or wait for more information? So yeah, after you're approved, we send you a welcome email with some suggested next steps, like registering for the workshops, but they aren't until November. So for the time being, just know that postings are going up. So yes, you can start looking at those postings and apply even before the resume review. They are early, but we don't want you to miss out. So please go ahead if there's something you're excited about. If you want our feedback on your application and it's due soon, you can send that to mossintern@uwo.ca. We will look at it. We'll give you some quick feedback. So yes, and you're right, accounting is the time is now. So you can go for it. Nicholas. Okay, I was planning on taking 2.5 credits worth of courses next year to graduate. Do I have to delay 1 credit from my second term? Okay, so this is quite specific, Nicholas. I'm thinking it's best if you send this to me by email, just so I can really look at your file and give you a proper answer, if you don't mind. So just copy and paste that, send it to mossintern@uwo.ca or my email, and I'll flag it and get back to you.
Okay, and I have a couple other questions that might not have come up on your chat feed. Is it required to return to King's after the program? I am 4th year and have no other classes to take after these ones I'm in.
So this program is intended for students who have would return to full-time studies post-internship. So that's 3.5 courses. If you're a King student, again, you'd want to talk to Lydia Lee at the King's program, but I believe the rule is the same.
And then someone also asked if they submit their application and then they're not quite sure about the program, is it okay if they submit it, or perhaps if they submit it and then they decide later on that they're not interested? How do you feel about that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think go ahead and submit your application. Have an opportunity to see what postings are there and how it all works. If you do choose that you want to withdraw, you just have to send me an email and we'll just take you out of the program. There's, like I said, nothing goes on your transcript until you're hired. So it's just a matter of marking you in the system. So yeah, I would say keep the door open.
And I'm just going to say that if you did have any direct message questions to me about King's, I'm going to get you to email them to Diana, because I don't deal with the student side. I'm more on the employer side. So I may not necessarily know your answer as well. I'm pretty new to the program. So, so if you don't mind emailing those more specific questions to Diana, that would be awesome.
I actually, thanks, Jillian. I actually just threw in Lydia Lee's contact. It's best to go straight to Lydia. Yeah, she'll know. Their process might be slightly different than ours, which is why we recommend that you speak to her. Thanks, Jillian. Yeah. Okay, Rachel has another question about other than the workshops. Is there anything else we need to attend or other assignments? So in the fall term, it's just the resume and cover letter workshop, and then you submit your resume for feedback, like your individual resume. And then in the winter term, we are going to offer an interview skills workshop. I strongly encourage you to attend that. again, just to be successful. But I think you've got it in terms of fall term commitments. Yeah. All right, Zane, sorry, I need to leave. I don't know if I caught him. Zane, if you're registered, we have your email, so you're good to go. You're gonna get the recording. Okay, I'll just scroll back, see if there's anything we missed, but for the most part, we're good. Yeah. Okay, Michael, I see that your panel question was missed about LinkedIn. So yeah, maybe reach out to Connor. There's also a really good workshop on LinkedIn recorded on our careers website that talks about how to actually engage with people you're not connected with. Because as you may know, you can't send direct messages to people on LinkedIn unless you have a connection sometimes. So let me see if I can find that link and put it here if you're still on the call, Michael. But if nothing else, check out the careers workshops on LinkedIn. You should be able to find it. I'll just put the website. Yeah, they have good tips. Okay. Right. So Rachel's asking about tracking attendance. So we have all registrations for this info session on Zoom and how long you've stayed on the call, all of that detail. But this year we've actually made this session non-mandatory. Again, I strongly encourage it given that you're committing a year and changing your degree plan. You want to know all the details. So I think it's in everyone's best interest to attend or listen to a recording, but we're not going to be tracking formally. Yeah, but thanks for coming, Rachel. Yeah. And I realized my camera's down because I was tilting my screen. Sorry about that. Is there any other questions? Otherwise, yeah, we'll be sending that email shortly. With the slides and the recording. So thank you so much for your engagement. I see we've got 15 people hanging on. So I wish you the best and we'll be in touch soon. Like I said, if we haven't looked at your application, it's coming and it'll be more quick now that we've got the process underway. So thanks for your patience. Yeah. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks, Jillian.